Hi everyone, today, we're going to take a look at the 5 best markers for adult coloring books on the market for this year. First, we're going to show you our 5 best picks, then we'll talk about what you should look for before buying a best markers for adult coloring books. You can find timestamps and links to all the products we mention in this video down in the description below. Let's get started. I don't know how it is, but there is definitely something therapeutic about adult coloring books. I just find them very relaxing to do. People also get a sense of fulfillment when they finish coloring a page, and the feeling gets even better when they use the best markers for adult coloring books because the results look so much better. I have nothing against crayons or colored pencils, but when it comes to adult coloring books, using markers is infinitely better and a whole lot easier. Due to adult coloring books having such small spaces, you will need a medium that shows its colors better. Fortunately, lots of different markers are on the market right now. Some are better than others, though. Typically, you will get what you pay for, but some cheaper sets of markers can also perform like their more expensive rivals. This article will teach you how you can find the set of markers that fits your needs and budget. Number 5. AintArt MDKDP36 markers for adult coloring books. For a fraction of the price of the top brands of color markers, you will be getting 36 markers of different colors. I bought 2 sets of these markers intending to use them as practice sets, so I will not waste any of my more expensive markers. And I have to say, they worked better than I expected they would. One thing I like the most about these markers is all of them have dual tips. I mainly bought these pens for the brush tips because I wanted to practice my brushstroke calligraphy. I was quite surprised that the felt brush tips worked so well. They were firm enough to resist wear and tear, but also flexible enough to mimic how real brushes work. The other end of the pen is 0.4mm fine-tipped marker, which I found were ideal for fine line drawings, outlining, and journaling. The latter I just started doing lately, and I found that using different colors per entry made the activity more enjoyable. You will find that these markers have many other uses other than just for adult coloring books. However, if you are going to buy these markers for adult coloring books, you will like the highly pigmented inks that these markers have. All the colors show clearly on paper and they contrast well against each other. I have tried these markers a couple of times for coloring and they were surprisingly easy to blend using just a bit of water. Pros. Comes with 36 different colored markers. The markers have dual tips, boast of highly pigmented inks. The set has a variety of other uses. Great value for money. Cons. Some of the fine point tips were a bit dry. Number 4. Angroy MP100 markers for adult coloring books. You will be getting a whole lot of pens for adult coloring books, 80 markers to be exact, plus 1 colorless blender. This means you will be getting a lot of value for your money. Having a lot of colors to choose from made every coloring book session more relaxing and fun. I try to use as many of the colors in one picture, and yet there is still a dozen or so colors that I have not used much yet. These products are alcohol-based color markers. This means that the colors are a lot more vibrant compared to water-based pens. Even though this brand is not as expensive as the top brands, I was surprised at the quality of the inks the markers used. They were so opaque that I could almost swear that these are paint pens. Another nice thing about these pens' ink is that they dry quite fast, so it prevents accidental smudges. However, even after drying for a couple of minutes, the colors are still easy to blend using the included blender pen. This is not like other water-based markers where you will need to race against time to blend. I probably lucked out with my set, but the number of complaints somewhat shows a lack of quality control. Pros. Contains 80 different colors plus 1 colorless blender. Alcohol-based inks are quite vibrant. The ink dries fast but is still easy to layer and blend. The markers have dual tips for added versatility. Color-coded caps with the names of the colors printed on them. Cons. kind of lacking in quality control. Number 3. Tanma 20201020 markers for adult coloring books. These pens are ballpoint gel pens, which means the inks are brighter and a lot opaquer than your regular pens. This makes the color pens ideal for coloring and drawing mostly whimsical art pieces, mainly because of the glitter ink. If you are fine with glitters on all your projects, or if it is your plan from the start, then you will love this set of gel pens. This set comes with 80 different colored markers, all of which have their color codes and names stamped on the pen bodies for easier identification and organizing. In addition, the set also comes with spare ink tubes for all the pens. You can also see the color codes printed on the ink tubes so you do not switch colors accidentally. One of the best things about this set of gel pens is that it came in a sturdy carrying case. Unlike in other brands where you just chuck the pens inside a container, this case has a designated place for each of the 80 pens. This makes organizing and using the pens a lot easier because you see every one of them. Now, as mentioned earlier, all the inks in this set of color pens contain a lot of glitters. It would have a lot more uses if half of the pens had regular color inks. However, if you deliberately wanted an 80 color set of glitter pens, then you would love this set. Note, though, that if you thought that there would be regular colored pens in the set, then you would be surprised when your order arrives. Pros: bright gel inks pop out of the paper. The ink flows smoothly out of the pens. The set also comes with ink refills for every color. Cons: all the inks are full of glitter, so the number of uses will be quite limited. Number 2. ZSCMB 07Q9 PYMBF markers for adult coloring books. For water-based color markers, these are quite vibrant. Unlike some cheap brands of color markers, the colors of this set do not look washed out and faded. If you add another layer, it even seems like you used alcohol-based markers. For the price, you are getting a good deal for beginner-class color markers. All the markers in this set also come with dual tips. One end has a fine-tipped 0.4mm nib, which is ideal for drawing fine lines and getting in those small details in those big coloring books for adults. The other end of the pen contains a felt brush tip, and these are great for general coloring tasks and brushstroke calligraphy. Another nice touch is the convenient carrying case that the pens came in. It keeps the pens in place and prevents them from drying out quickly. The box itself makes the kit look good enough that you can give these markers as a gift as is. I do not have a problem with the pens themselves. They work well in my opinion. I do have a huge issue with the number of repeated colors in the set. There are so many markers that have very similar colors to each other that I reckon there are only 40 plus unique colors in the set instead of the 60 colors that it claims it has. Pros: nicely pigmented inks. All markers come with dual tips, water-based and non-toxic. The pens come in a convenient carrying case, great for adult coloring books and other art projects. Cons: some markers have very similar and maybe even the same colors. Number 1. Hethron 100 Colors Black Markers for Adult Coloring Books. One reason why I say that this set contains among the best adult coloring book markers is that you are getting 100 incredible colors in just a single set. I sometimes like to blend colors when coloring, and having these many colors to choose from is quite nice. It is also great that these markers are relatively easy to blend. Another reason why I highly recommend these markers is that they have dual tips. One end has a felt brush tip for coloring large spaces quickly and drawing soft outlines. The other end of the pen has a very fine point nib, which I would typically use for filling in the tiny spaces in the drawings. You will be amazed at the versatility of these markers. If you are just a beginner at using colored markers, this is a good beginner's set. Beginners should not spend hundreds of dollars for a professional set of markers, especially if they will only be using them as coloring books for adults' markers. This set is just a fraction of the cost of branded markers, and they do their intended jobs well. Now, because this is an economical set of markers, it is only fair that you will be making a couple of compromises. One of which is that some of the pen's colors do not match what is on their caps. I strongly advise that you make a clear color swatch table so that you have a better means of determining what colors to use. Pros. Provides 100 different colors in just one set. Come with dual tips. Affordable but still somewhat comparable to more expensive brands. The pens use water-based non-toxic inks, ideal for use on other art projects. Cons. Some of the cap colors do not perfectly match the colors of the ink.